I want to touch a little bit more on what reflex angles are. They want you to know that straight across is 180 degrees. Now, the way you can always remember it is when you have two perpendicular intersecting lines, inside here is going to be perfect 90-degree angles. Can you see that, a 90 degree? Here's a 90 degree. This would be a 90-degree angle, and this one would be a 90-degree angle. The reason I'm drawing those little boxes in there is because later on in 5th grade and once you get into middle school, they won't do this 90 degrees any longer. They will let you know that an angle is 90 degrees just by putting this little symbol on the inside of the angle right there. So it's really easy. If I know that this is 90 degrees, what will be the reflex angle over here? Well, remember our protractor, if I drew a protractor, you would know the protractor is at 180 degrees. Now, I'm sure many of you, skateboarders or bike riders or skiers, whenever you see somebody doing a 180, well, then that means they've gone the whole way around. And the 180 stems from this math, because what's 4 90-degree angles? 4 90 degrees is a whole way around, which is 360. So if you ever play that video game SSX Tricky, where they jump and they go halfway around from one side to another, well, that's a 180. But if they jump up and they go the whole way around, it's a 360. But we're not going to worry with 360s right now. We're just dealing with a protractor and 2 90-degree angles combined, one on the left, one on the right, for a protractor to find angles. And the angles that we want to make sure that you are able to find out are acute and obtuse angles. Now, we went over that yesterday. An acute angle is anything that's less than 90 degrees, and an obtuse angle is anything that's larger than 90 degrees. Well, I can have an acute angle and an obtuse angle, can't I, on the same side? Well, how can that be acute? Well, if you look here, this angle in between here is less than the 90 degrees, so this is an acute angle. But this angle around here is now larger than the 90 degrees, so this is obtuse. And we've gone over that on your protractor. If it is an acute angle, you will know to take the smaller number. We'll just say this is 40 here. And if it is obtuse, meaning the base is making it obtuse, you know you would be picking the larger number. That's kind of what we went over yesterday. But I want to ask you now to think about something called the reflex angle. On your SBAC test, they may not provide a protractor on some questions, and they will simply give you an angle, and they will measure it as 10 degrees. And then they will have something like this, and they will label it, we'll call it B. And they will say, what is angle B? Or what is the reflex angle of, they might label this A. What's the reflex angle of A? Let me draw that a little. 10 degrees. What they really want to see is, do you know that the whole way across is 180? 180 degrees. Well, if angle A is 10 degrees, what will B have to equal if the straight across is 180? Well, you just have to subtract 10 from 180, and that would mean that the reflex angle of A is 170. So the reflex angle of A would be 170. Let's try one more. Here's my base, and I'm going to draw this one right here, and I'm going to say that this angle is 110 degrees. What is the reflex angle of A? Or I could say, what is angle B? Did you get it? Well, what is the whole way across? Think about a skier that jumps halfway around. Well, that's a 180. Well, if angle A from here to here is 110, well, then that would mean from here to here, well, what's 110 minus or what's 180 minus 110? That would be 70. So that would mean that this angle is 70 degrees, angle B. Or you could say the reflex angle of A is 70. Okay, I know that can get confusing because on one hand you're saying what is angle B, which is 70, and you're asking what's the reflex angle of A, and it's also 70. So if you need to watch it a couple times, just know that the reflex angle is the angle that's on the other side of what they're asking. And if you keep that square, hey, I just used a geometrical shape.